Hey guys, so what we're going to talk about today is how to build a professional home recording studio. This is something that a lot of us online guys have made videos about, tutorials about, and most guys talk about equipment, and I will talk a little bit about equipment today, but mostly I'm going to talk about room treatment and how to set up your space so it's a really ideal mixing space. This is going to be inside of an apartment because I live in an apartment. It's a standard 10 by 10 room, which is a really common size. And I have contacted the John Hunter Acoustics Company, and they have helped me out with some panels. So thank you very much to John Hunter Acoustics for giving me such a great deal on panels. They make some of the most well-constructed panels that are also able to absorb on all 6 sides, which as far as I've been able to find, I couldn't find anybody else who did that. So that's why I contacted them. That's why I pulled the trigger on buying those. So I just redid my entire studio. The regular viewers out there, you're used to seeing the studio looking like this. And now it looks like this. So immediately, you could probably already hear a massive difference in the way my voice sounds, just as far as the way the sound coming out of my mouth is interacting with the environment that I'm in, right? So this is the new space that I have been building for the last, well, let's say we did it over the weekend, basically 48 hours. I have 10 panels in here, 2 on the ceiling, 2 in the corners, 5 on the walls, 1 on the rear wall, and then 2 on each side, left and right by the mixing space. Now, again, what I was really trying to do was really make an awesome mixing space. Now, I do record in this room, and that's still gonna be totally fine. I'm gonna be able to record in here. But these panels, man, I cannot tell you what a massive difference they have made in my life, in the way the studio sounds. It is really, really dramatic. And one of the things that really surprised me the most is how much better my monitors sound. For a little while there, I was shopping around and trying to decide, should I buy some new monitors? And then I was like, well, let's tune the room properly with these panels and see what they sound like. Automatically, my M audios went up 5 notches. I mean, they sound so much better now that the room has been properly treated. So what I want to talk about is how they're set up and why they are where they are, okay? So when you're talking about, here are your monitors, and you want to start controlling the reflections of the sound throughout the room, there's one thing that I think you will find very interesting, which is what is called the first point of reflection. So my monitors are here, and on the opposite wall, I have this big trap back here. Now, I will tell you, these panels are all broadband, so that means that they get all the high end, all the low end, all the mids, all that stuff. They are able to control the full spectrum of what we are spitting out from the monitors, right? So basically what's going on is the sound comes out of here. Before, I didn't have a panel here, it would bounce off this wall, and then it would actually start shooting out this direction to these 2 surfaces right here. So on the left-hand side, previously I had windows. On the right-hand side, I had a bunch of those producer choice acoustic blankets, which I still really love, but I wouldn't advise only setting up half of your room with them. So what I've done here is made a perfectly balanced room, right? I'm right in the middle now, thankfully. I've gotten my location in the middle. I have the bass traps in the corners because corners are typically one of those areas where sound is really, just sort of messed up by the shape of that corner, depending on furniture, other things that are around there. Corners are always going to be a nightmare. Now, of course, ceiling, I got the panel up above my head, and I have another trap right here, another panel right here, angled down, and then again, another one behind the monitor. This is probably my favorite one. If you're gonna not do the whole 10 panel thing, I was thinking you could get away with 4 and do a pretty good job, with the understanding that you might need more in the future. But behind the computer, behind me specifically, the opposing wall, the first point of reflection, right? So I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. I think if you did that, you could probably really start understanding the benefits of having these kinds of panels. The one over my head, I mean, that would be a 5th one that I would recommend. If you wanted to get 5, do that one too. Again, huge thank you to John down at John Hunter Acoustics. If you don't know, they're a California-based company, small company, just like me, and I'm a big fan of what they make. I keep seeing these panels pop up all over the internet and my friends' studios and stuff, and so that's how I sort of got turned on to them. Now, if you are somebody who's out there and trying to do this as a professional, right? That's what I do. I'm an engineer, I record, I'm an artist, I do all this stuff as well as the YouTube channel. But primarily my, big deal now is I really want to be mixing and producing for people, making music for people. And I was having a hard time doing that with any sort of like, I'm really legitimate, because my space was so not perfect. Now, it's not perfect now, but for an apartment studio, I'm pretty confident in saying that this is the best home recording studio that you could possibly build in a 10 by 10 room in a house or an apartment. Aside of the equipment, I've made videos about my equipment. Check out the other videos about how to build a home recording studio. Those ones are all equipment-based videos. Today, I'm talking about room acoustics, because as far as I've seen, these how to build a home recording studio videos really don't cover it well enough. Now that foam, that acoustic foam that you can buy, it works. It's good stuff. Even the cheap Amazon stuff, I know, but a lot of people hate it, but it totally does work. One thing you need to understand though is that stuff only deals with high end. It's only high end. It's not going to control any of the low end, which is one of the most problematic areas for any engineer, especially in an untreated space. So you might know already what I'm talking about. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm always struggling with my low end in the mix. I take it out to the car and it's way too loud or it's way too little. It's because your room is not helping you. It's working against you. So these panels that you can buy from John Hunter Acoustics, they're affordable, they're well built, they absorb from all six sides, they're broadband panels. They're really nicely built. I'm going to be making a separate review specifically for the panels, but today I just wanted to talk about the new studio and ask you guys what you think. I have more mandolins up, the lights are going to be moved around, I had to have them this way for this video today. One thing that I've always wanted to do in my studio is this right here, actually. This is a cabinet that I got over at IKEA. It's the Fabricator with a K, but basically it allows me to have my microphones out. So where I can see them, I can access them. They don't have to live in their boxes anymore. They're out, but they are not getting covered in dust and dirt and stuff like that. I have guitar pedals and more microphones down at the bottom. I love this case. It is super fun. I worked in a music store for 6 years, and if you couldn't tell, I loved this part of it. Doing the display cases was like one of my favorite things. These are pretty much all review microphones up here. This is just a fun way to have all your beautiful toys out, and so you can also look at them, because somebody does spend a bunch of time making sure that they look good, and so it's worth paying attention to that part of it, because I think they're awesome to look at. I love looking at this stuff. And now I have this like little sort of museum case. Somebody called it a treasure chest on Facebook, and I thought that was pretty darn accurate. This is absolutely, positively my treasure chest, and I love it. And it's a great way to store your equipment where you can see it, but it doesn't get exposed to the elements, which are bad for microphones. I got the piano out of here as well, which has been a big deal. I gave it to I rolled it into my wife's studio because she's a piano teacher and a piano player. And so it really didn't make any sense that it was in my room anymore, but it had to go up on its end. It was a big pain in the butt to get it over there, so it took a little time, but she loves it. And I love hearing the piano across the room now because I have all this space. I mean, there was one piano here. Now there's a Hammond organ and a Wurlitzer. I can make a piano sound with the Nord that she's also kindly loaning to me. And shooting the video, so everybody say hi to Valentina. And she will be making it back into a music video. Now, I did also want to quickly mention, I know I'm not doing my Music Monday thing, Monday Music, whatever it is. I needed a break personally because I had been working on this project all weekend and I'm physically exhausted from head to toe. This is a weekend project. If you're wondering how long does it take, one weekend, you do it, it's done. I'm in my 40s and I don't do a lot of like heavy labor stuff, so my back hurts, my arms hurt. I cut my finger really badly. I mean, it was a fun weekend with a great result, but as far as me sitting down and writing a song and doing all of that, that's going to have to wait till Wednesday, so don't worry, there will be music coming out on Wednesday. Long story short, you guys, the equipment, yeah, it's totally essential. You gotta have, you gotta have an interface, you gotta have microphones, a computer, all that stuff that has been well covered on the internet by myself and by many other engineers who make YouTube videos about this kind of stuff. But again, this acoustic treatment thing is by far the most essential thing, if you ask me. I mean, you can have all this great equipment that you want, you can buy all this amazing microphones and preamps and all that stuff, but if you then stick it in a untreated space, you are not getting the full benefit out of those monitors, out of those microphones, out of the whatever it may be, because the environment that you're recording in is actually working against you in that mix stage. And that is something that I don't think enough people talk about on YouTube. So now I'm here doing it. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys subscribing, hitting that little notification bell, finding me over on Facebook and Instagram. Did I just say Facebook, I think they call it. Instagram, and that's it, because I don't like Twitter. Otherwise, if you have comments, questions, leave it in the section below. Check out the more info area for the details for how to find John Hunter Acoustics. Again, we're going to be taking a closer look at the panels next week. Once again, John down at John Hunter Acoustics. Thank you. You know, John actually sent him measurements. He designed like the placement and where everything would go, and it is perfect, man. It came out absolutely perfectly. I am ecstatic about the new studio, and you guys are going to be seeing a lot more of this space. So get ready. It's about to get super fun here at Garageband and Beyond. A lot of new videos coming out, 3 videos a week. That's it. Have a great day. Peace.